Our next speaker will be Shailja Mathur. She is a public administrator and community dietitian experienced in effectively governing a wide range of management and nutrition outreach responsibilities for the state of New Jersey. She is involved in community outreach as well as teaching leadership classes online. She is known for her contributions in chronic disease prevention in the community, focusing on diabetes and stroke targeted to South Asian population in collaboration with Rutgers Medical School and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Shailja is very involved with the community and shares her passion and knowledge through nutrition education outreach at local farmers markets, schools, and senior centers, and the usage of social media in disseminating wellness and disease prevention messages.
Can everybody hear me without the mic?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that I want to applaud first Aishwarya for starting this initiative, and the mom for being the inspiration. And I wanted to thank Daryl, who is my colleague and mentor. While Daryl has been with FCHS for 35 years, I have only been with this department for 5 years, but I'm in my 19th year with Rutgers. And today I stand here wearing many different hats, as you heard. How do I put this? Okay, so today we're going to do a little paradigm shift where she spoke. Although I'm a registered dietitian, I'm not going to talk about food. We're going to discuss some relaxation techniques that you can use as a caregiver. And why I was invited here was because I have been a caregiver for a very long period. And I'm bringing it up because I'm glad that this initiative is here and much needed for the South Asian population. So let me tell you my story. I had 4 older people living with me in my house. One who had a stroke, completely paralyzed from the right side of their body, which was my mother-in-law. My dad, who completely had dementia and they both lived at the same time in my house for about 12 years. So what did that do to me? And that's what I learned, all the techniques that I used during that time, which I had 2 little boys. I was going to school at Rutgers, and I had a full-time job. And at that time, I was working on a grant with people who are on food stamps, and they were mostly targeted to African American and Hispanic population. And in my head, I thought, there is nothing that is helping the South Asian people because we don't talk, we don't advocate our needs, and what do I do? So when I moved into my role with FCHS, I started to look because I was assigned Middlesex County. So instead of doing the entire state of New Jersey, I was now in Middlesex County, and what's there? A big South Asian population. And I started to do some needs assessment to see what their needs were. And that's where I landed to work with SATI, which is a South Asian Total Health Initiative that comes out of, which is now Rutgers Medical School, but it used to be UMDNJ. And it's a 10-year-old initiative where a lot of doctors were doing a lot of different things, disease related to the South Asian population, but they did not have any community experience to work with the community, and there was no registered dietitian. So food is medicine. We just saw what Daryl shared, right? And when I went to speak with the leadership at SATI, they just jumped and they said, "Whoa, we could do a lot with this." And that's when we got a grant for stroke in the South Asian population, which was a 5-year grant. We did a lot of programs all over New Jersey. We did some work on TB. TB happens to be a problem in our community because we go back home, and we go back quite often now. And we often bring back TB from there. And sometimes it's latent and we don't know and till it becomes full blown. So we did a lot of education on that. And then we had a program on HIV, because as with all communities, our community also has a big stigma talking about HIV. But there is HIV in our community, and it needs to be treated. So we had a grant where we did 26 radio programs on EBC radio. How many of you listen to EBC radio? Yeah, so last year we did that all year. We brought different guests and we spoke about what we could do with HIV. And this year I've jumped into a new initiative which is very dear to my heart, diabetes. I have type 2 diabetes, and I don't know, in a room full of South Asians, if I make them raise their hands, I would get at least 90% of people who have somebody living with diabetes that they know in their family. So I have a small grant where I'm working with South Asians. We are actually trying to see if education is going to make a difference in the way they manage the disease. It seems that we are very fatalistic, where since diabetes is so much part of our lives, we don't really care about self-management, and especially if it is a woman. We're thinking about everybody else and not about ourselves. So I run a support group for women living with diabetes in the Old Bridge Library every month for the last 3 years. And this program is actually recruiting anybody living with diabetes, and we run a 10-week workshop. We are actually working with Somerset Senior Center to bring it to Somerset. We have done 3 of these, one in Old Bridge Library and one at the Krishna Temple in Marlborough, where we could retain the 100% of the participants. We were going to have small group discussions. So it was a 6-week of education, and we're doing pre and post. So we're doing A1C and the lipid panels, and we're doing some surveys with them. Then we teach them for 6 weeks. We bring them back in 3 months to see if their A1C has changed. And I have to say that the 2 groups, one ended last night, and the first one ended December 21st. We are seeing big changes in these small groups of people. So we have money to do 10 of these groups. I think that brings me here to be very happy to see something like this come up in our community, because we, although we are very good with having a friend circle, but with my being in this whole situation for about 30 years, I've seen that we're together more for parties and festivals than we are when somebody has cancer or, yes, okay, I see all, okay.
Yeah, I saw it in that context too, where they had courses to educate the public on bulletproof topics at a very reasonable price of someone's fee.
Very good. So I want Daryl to stand up one more time, because Daryl is the person responsible in your county for all these programs.
We did put a clipboard in the back. You could sign up for, we're going to start emailing people of what's coming up. I'm not once a month, not a lot. But how many have been to 4-H Fair? Somerset County's 4-H Fair in the summer?
Yeah, that was how I first saw it.
Good. So Family Community Health Sciences that we work for is part of Rutgers Cooperative Extension. 4-H is part of Rutgers Cooperative Extension, and Agriculture and Natural Resources. So our office is in Milltown Road in Bridgewater. We have lots to offer, and the websites have great materials as well.
And it's all free. So we are the outreach
low
on
cost,
most of it. Some minimal cost, and I can assure you that you get good value for that money. Cooperative Extension is actually the outreach arm of Rutgers University. So we are all Rutgers University. We try to bring the research we do at the university back to the community. So that's the purpose, and that's what we stand. So for us, it is what I have here, and what I'm going to do today is a small body scan, which is called like a relaxation activity. As a caregiver, I learned that I had to take care of myself if I have to offer. It's almost like, how on the plane you're taught that put your mask before you start helping the people next to you. So as a caregiver, that's the first thing to learn, is you need to take care of yourself, because you may be up all night, or you may be up several nights before you can get some rest, and you would have a family, you would have the older people, you would have your job, you would have to balance all these things. And not necessarily a woman, but most of the time, as women, we are the caregivers, right? So we need to teach ourselves to be taking care of ourselves. So today I'm going to do a relaxation activity, which is in this CD. And this is a book that I use. It's a chronic disease prevention program, which is called CDSMP. So these two we are going to raffle. And what I want you to do, if you could in turn do the evaluation for me on this. So the first page is just filling in the dots, and the second page has a few questions. So these help us plan programs, because all over the state, our department and all of Cooperative Extension, this is what we do. We serve the community, and there is unfortunately not as much for the South Asian community, which we're trying to build up. So your feedback will be really good. So you can then, once you fill that out, you can go to the back. She has some, Aishwarya has some students. You can put your name, and we will raffle both the CD and the book. So I will bring that to them. And I hope you have pens, because I did forget to bring pens. So what I'm going to do now is something that's called the relaxation body scan. And